Hi everyone. So today we're going to be working on an iPhone 13 that has no baseband. It means that the iOS was restored, and during the restore it said like baseband failed to send baseband data or something like this, like or baseband didn't accept data. And when you boot the phone and you press on the I at the bottom right of the screen, you get no IMEI number. So this was sent to me by another shop, and I tell them usually what you should do if you have something like this. The first thing you should try to do is try and heat the boards and press them at the same time, because a lot of times this is due to board separation, but here in this case, it's not. As you can see under the microscope, the boards are pretty well assembled. I see no evidence of separation. So they already did this. They already pressed the board on the heating platform, and it didn't solve the issue. So then they sent it to me, and I'm going to show you how I diagnose these things. So the first thing I want to do in a case like this is, let me show you on the schematic. So the first thing I want to do is see if the baseband is getting power. So baseband power supply is here. It's called a BBPMU, and it outputs a few power supplies. Here there's you to find them, you just have to look at the coils around the BBPMU. So there's here, this is one power supply, this is another one, this is another one, this is another one, here, here, and here. So total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 power supplies. This is not the power supply for the baseband. This is for this this other IC here. And the main problem we could have is that if we want to measure these, well, we need to separate the boards, because it's between this happens between the boards. But of course it's pretty annoying, because if the boards are separated, then you cannot turn the device on with the boards assembled. So it's kind of a conundrum. However, we can find on the bottom of the board a few test points which correspond to each power supply. So which means that this power supply can be measured here, this power supply can be measured here, this one here, etc. So actually we are able to measure if the baseband is getting power just by scratching those test points at the bottom of the board. Let me show you. Sure, I already did it. As you can see, here, 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 and here. And what I do is I boot the device, I turn on the device, and then I measure if there's voltage, if there is voltage or if there is not, and then I take note of what voltage is missing. So let me show you. First, I'm going to connect the device to power. You can see here the current draw, and I'm going to turn it on right here. So power button is right here. Hopefully you can see the needle moving, which shows that the device is booting. Then I turn the board over and I measure voltages at the BBPMU outputs. So here, yes, you can see the multimeter. Here you can see that we have 1.8 volts, 1.3 volts, 0.88 volts, 0.8 volts. Here we have 0. And here, where is the last one? Last one is here. We get 0.8 volts. So the BBPMU is outputting everything except for this one here, which gives us 0 volts. Now, the problem is we don't know if this is normal or abnormal, because it might be that maybe some power supplies are only outputted once, I don't know, once we put a SIM card in or whatever. So the first thing I want to do next is to compare to another board. So I got here a working board. Or let's say that's the second thing I want to do. The first thing I want to do is see if there's a short, maybe this line is shorted to ground. So here I get, so the multimeter is beeping and I'm getting 50 ohms. 50 ohms to ground. So now I'm going to compare with the other board. And well, here I'm getting 70 ohms to ground. So there seems to be something abnormal going on here, but it's not a short. 55 ohms. So we don't really know, and it's kind of rising. 56, 57. So maybe because the board was just powered on, the resistance is pretty low, but it's gonna rise to some stable value. Okay, so this is the first thing that I can take note of. I don't know what to do about it right now, but I take note of it. Then I take another working board and I try to power it on and see if this missing voltage is here. So there you go. Blah. You can see the needle on the power supply. It's moving, the device is booting. Flip the board over. And then try and measure the same power supply here. And here, as you can see, I'm getting 0.8 volts. So this is supposed to output 0.8 volts, even if the SIM card is not in, or 0.6. I mean, at least there's something. Whereas on the non-working board, there's nothing here. These are my hints. I still don't know what the problem is, but now I have something to work on. There are, so as I said, I have no idea what's going on here, but we can try and think about it. So this is the BBPMU. It's outputting everything except for this one, which was the test point that we were measuring here. So maybe the BBPMU is defective, but then it would be weird that it outputs everything except one power supply. But hey, why not? It's a possibility, but for me right now, it's not the most likely. Or maybe one of the two coils is defective. I don't know. Or maybe, yeah, no, these are basically the only two things that I can think of. Baseband PMU defective, or one of the two coils is defective. But even though, if one of the coils were defective, I would hope we would still get some voltage, not zero like we're getting right now. So this is kind of a weird one, and this is what I'm going to to work with. So I'm going to separate the board, remove the BBPMU, remove the coils, test them, maybe replace them, then replace the BBPMU and see if it works, because except for these things, I don't know what else to do. So let's do this. It's going to take a very long time, so I'm going to put it in accelerated, and we'll meet again at the end. Okay, see you later. Okay, so I finished the whole procedure. And so we still don't have the IMEI, but this is kind of expected. You probably need to restore the device first to see if the IMEI comes back. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to put it in restore mode. And while it's happening, I'm going to try to explain what I've been doing during this whole procedure. As you can see, it was very long. So just wait a second. Okay, restore mode. Let's see if I have a cable. Let's see, 3U tools. Okay, just wait a little bit. Let's see, do I have a... Can I show you 3U tools? Let's see. There you go. So, chica. Okay, we're gonna let it do its thing, and in the meantime, I'm going to try and explain what I've been doing. So as you can, so I had to first separate the boards. Then I did, let's see. So yeah, let's go back. So I did have to separate the boards, clean up the pads, reball the bottom board, and then I started working on the baseband PMU. So as you could see, it's stuck in glue, in underfill. So first I had to clean the underfill. Then you probably saw me remove this coil here. The only reason is that because it makes it more comfortable to remove the BBPMU because it's very tightly packed around it, so there's no access point. So if I remove this coil, I can access it and remove it safely. Otherwise, it's so tight around here that I might damage a component or dislodge a component, which would give me more work. So the easiest thing to do is to remove this coil here and then remove the BBPMU, then clean up the glue. Then what did I do? I did take some measurements. I did measure continuity between here, so between this dot here and this capacitor here, which there was continuity, therefore it told me that these two coils are probably good, or at least one of them should be good. Then I took a new BBPMU. It's better to use a new one rather than take one from a donor board, because as you can see, I mean, the whole process here took about 2 hours. If I'm going to spend 2 hours on a job, I'd rather make sure that the BBPMU that I'm replacing is a new one. Then so I replaced the BBPMU and then I reassembled the board. I noticed also when I was cleaning the glue that this capacitor here was not properly soldered, which could tell me that maybe the phone maybe was dropped or something, and then this capacitor came off, and maybe also the BBPMU did come off. got desoldered around here. This might be the reason why we didn't have the what was it called, PP0V75 SMPS1. So maybe that was the reason why this power supply was missing. I don't know. So we'll know if it works once the update goes through. So let's wait. Let's wait it out. And let's see if we get the IMEI back. Okay, so it's done. Now we're gonna check, and there you go. We got IMEI back. So I'm hoping that this phone will be able to activate and then work properly. Well, at least I didn't waste 2 hours. So I hope you understood the thought process behind the repair. I don't like to do stuff randomly. I'd rather make measurements and act logically according to what I measure. So here, the idea was we got no IMEI, which means that the baseband is not turning on. And then I measured if it was powered on, and I noticed that one power supply was missing. And just by looking at the board view, I could tell that either the BBPMU was defective or disconnected. I forgot to think about this, and I think that's what actually happened. So the baseband PMU was either disconnected or defective, or one of the coils was bad. But as you can see, after removing the BBPMU, I measured to see if the coils were okay. They were okay, and I changed it. Now it works. So there are two possibilities. Either the BBPMU was bad or it was disconnected. This was a very long and very tedious repair. Maybe now you can understand why I prefer doing MacBooks rather than iPhones, at least for videos. I do a lot of iPhones, but I don't film them all the time because it just takes too long. It's a real pain in the ass. So anyway, I hope this was interesting, and see you next time. Bye bye.